Congratulations to ADI and Home Instead for convening this critical moment where we're talking about Alzheimer's. The Global Coalition on Aging, as the name suggests, comes at it from a broader perspective, which is this profound demographic shift that is taking place globally. It is about living longer, but it is also about these stunningly low birth rates that are kicking in countries around the globe, regardless of religion, regardless of society, regardless of culture, where there very shortly will be more of us over 60 than under 15. In that construction, as was alluded to earlier, the social welfare model that we see in such great evidence in Europe is simply unsustainable. Barry mentioned China. Barry mentioned the distinction between long-term care and personal home care before. China, in their current 5-year plan, as some of you may know, has a goal of bringing 90% of care into the home and a little bit more of closer to 7% into the community and leaving about 3% in institutional long-term care. Why? Because they see that that is the right economic model for them. They see that bringing into the home will be a good self-interest economic thing to do. You just mentioned SHRM. When the place when HR directors, when corporations will step up to this, when they realize that in order to attract and retain talent, caregiving will be a central need for them. And we're close to getting there, unfortunately. So with the Global Coalition on Aging, this demographic shift is the broad context in which we set it. Inside that, people come to me and say, okay, Hodin, you want to get an optimistic view on population aging. How do we turn 60, 65, 70, 80-year-olds from presumptions around dependence and disability, which is where the 20th century model has been, to active, healthy, and engaged? Not all of us will be there, but how do we get more to that place? And I say that the big one in that is Alzheimer's. That is the huge burden that we see, and unless and until we change that barrier, both with respect to current caregiving today and finding the solution over the next 10, 20, or 25 years, we are not going to be able to turn our aging population from a dependent or disabled cohort to an active and healthy. So in conclusion, a couple points. You mentioned Japan a couple times. They are, as it were, the canary in the mine shaft. Japan is the oldest population on the earth. Shortly, they will have roughly 40% of their population over 60. By 2020, within General Electric or Home Instead's planning period, by 2020, there will be more adult diapers than baby diapers sold in Japan. I mean, this is a depressing but true reality, and we know what the diapers for adults are about. Let me conclude by again highlighting the need to connect this to self-interest. Alzheimer's is an awful, awful social problem and challenge. It is a personal matter, as Barry was describing, that makes you cry. It is a huge health issue, but none of those will get us to the place that we need to be. It is an impending fiscal nightmare. And as a fiscal nightmare, that will get people's attention. We, the global health community, the world, turned HIV/AIDS from a certain death sentence to a manageable illness in 20 short years. There were two reasons that happened. One, political commitment, and secondly, money. We need the kind of funding globally to support the sort of movement toward a cure and prevention that we all want to see. And in the interim, we need new and different kind of models on care, the kind that we see in personal home care that we've heard about today, that are both scalable and sustainable. The old 20th century version just simply will not meet the need. This is the fiscal nightmare that will kill us all.